All right, in this video, we're going to be creating the bitmap in order for us to see what entities have what components. This is going to be just a simple vector. If we come back to our whiteboard, this is what essentially we're going to be creating today. So we have the hash map of all of the components that make up the entities. And we are creating the masks for each of the components. But now it's time for us to create a vector to basically show, you have location, sizes, and health. So essentially you're going to store a 7. So let's go ahead and write a test and get this going. So we're going to have function. Let's do this is like map is updated. So map updated when creating entities. We're probably gonna have to return a result because I don't see that this is gonna be very different than what we have right here with component. So we're gonna start with creating our entities. We're gonna register these two components together. And then we're gonna create the entities, absolutely. Now, I don't have to just start getting this getting this information to make sure that it is exactly what we expect it to be. All we need to do is make sure that the map is correct. So at this point in time, after we've grabbed this out, we need to grab the map out and then make sure that it's exactly what we expect it to be. So to begin with, we know that we're going to be checking the one entity, the first entity. There's only one entity here, so that's fine. So that's going to be we want the first item in the map. So that's going to be our entity map equals entities.map position 0. That's obviously going to yell at us because we don't have a map. So let's go ahead and create that. So we're going to have a map, and you're going to be a vector of U32. So this has to map to whatever we're going to be using for our bit mass. Okay, so we grabbed that out. We have to return a result. That's true. Let's go ahead and do that. Make the compiler happy. All right, so now it's just telling us that we're not using this. Okay, so entity map, entities. We want to, at this point in time, verify that this is 3, right? Because we have health is going to be that far right one, and then we have another one to the left of that. So 1, 1, that's 1 plus 2, that's 3. So this should be 3. So we should then be able to assert equal that entity map is 3. Let's go ahead and make sure that this is true. Now, if I run this right now, obviously this is going to be a false because there is nothing in there. So we're indexing out of bounds. So what we need to do is make sure that, yes, we have this map here, but it's empty. When we create the entity, we want to initialize this. So we're not going to return self right away. We're going to instead self.map. So here we're components. So we're pushing something into the very end. Okay, so we're going to push a 0 into here. Okay, so we have a 0 pushed in. Then every time we do a with component, we also now need to update the map for this index that we're doing. Now, at this point of time, we're doing everything at the very, like, the end, right? We're pushing at the very end. We haven't handled delete yet, which is going to change things just a little bit, but we'll get there when we get there. So if we know that this is like the last thing that we're doing, then what I'm going to do is with component, we have our type ID here. So if we can get, components, if we can get the components based upon the type ID, we should also guaranteed be able to get the bit mask from this too. So at this point right here, we should be able to say let bit mask equals self dot bit mask dot, we just need to get, our key is going to be a reference to this type ID. And we can just unwrap this because there's really no chance that this could fail on us because, well, we're guaranteed to have something. We found the components, so we should guaranteed find the bit mask. And if we don't, this needs to crash to let us know right away. Okay, so we have our bit mask now. Now what I need to do is basically add this into our map. So what we need to do is get the ID or index that we're working with here. So let's do I guess this is gonna be the map index equals, so what are you gonna be? You're gonna be whatever the length of it is minus 1. So equals, that's gonna be, self dot map length minus 1. Okay, that gets us this U size here. We can now use this U size to grab inside. So now we have our bit mask. So finally, self.map of position map index. And here's where we're going to do what we learned in the last video while experimenting with how to update numbers using the bitwise operators. We can do this or equals, this pipe equals. And that's going to basically say, hey, if there's a 1 in one of these positions but not in the other, then add it in here. So take our map and add in the one from this location to it if you don't have a 1 there already. And if you do, don't worry about it. Just leave it there. So pipe equals, and then this is going to be a dereferenced bitmask. And that's it. That should update our map for us. Okay, so let's come back down and let's run this test, see if it works. And it does. So that shows that our entity map is indeed 3. Let's go ahead and update a second component, maybe with not quite as many things. And we'll see if the entity map is exactly what we expect it to be. So you're supposed to be a 3. Now, if we do this again, I don't need to have a completely new entities. We're just gonna do entities. We're gonna I don't need to register new components. Okay, entities, create entity. Now something that only has, let's say, speed. You only have a speed. I don't actually care what the value in this is because we're not gonna be checking that. We now want to get this out and testing what this value is going to be. So entities map of position 1, you should be, well, what's speed? So health is 1, speed is 2. So we expect you to be a 2. Let's run this test. Oh, and it works. Okay, so our bitmap is working. We're able to now tell in a vector that's basically the same length as the number of entities that we have if an entity has, 1 or all or any number of the components, which is going to be great for our queries. So those are coming up, but I'll see you in the next video. Bye.